My name's Adrian, and at 34, writing this wasn't exactly on my to-do list. But man, after what went down at my brother's wedding, I just gotta get this stuff off my chest, you know? See, I've always had this, well, let's just say complicated relationship with my younger brother, Tyler. He's 31, got that charm thing down, real successful, and basically, he's always been mom and dad's golden boy. Me? I've always been the quiet one, the one who plans stuff, fixes things, the one who chipped in when mom and dad were a little short. And even with all that, somehow I've just been background noise in everyone else's shiny highlight reel. Growing up, Tyler and we weren't exactly best buddies. He was the type to break something, then point the finger at me, and I'd just take the blame to keep the peace. My parents, they just sigh, shake their heads and be like, he's still learning, Adrian. You're older. Set a good example. And you know what? I did. Even when he swiped my car when he was 17 and put a nice dent in the side backing out of some party. I paid the deductible. Didn't say a word to mom and dad. And then there was that time when he called me from jail at 21 because he got caught trying to boost some cologne for his girlfriend. Guess who bailed him out? Yep, yours truly. Again, silence. Again, the peacemaker steps in. So, jump ahead to now, Tyler's getting hitched to a woman named Marissa. We've hung out a few times over the past couple of years, and I'd be lying if I said we clicked. She's got that way of talking with her eyes half closed, like she's already bored out of her skull with whatever you're saying. Always dressed to impress, always looking around the room to see if someone more important walked in. She even called my job in logistics cute, once. I've kept my distance, believe me. Even so, when the wedding invitations came out, I said I'd be there. Heck, I even helped Tyler out with some of the planning. Recommended a killer caterer that I'd worked with through my company, and he went with them. I wasn't expecting to be the best man or anything. I'm not that delusional, but I figured I'd at least get a seat at a decent table and maybe a few minutes to feel like family. The wedding was at this beautiful countryside place, with string lights all over these big oak beams and a lake sparkling in the background. Straight out of a fairy tale. Real Instagram-worthy. I showed up early, gift in hand, an engraved decanter set with their initials and the wedding date. Nothing flashy, but classy, you know? Something they could keep forever. I checked in at the welcome table, and this girl with a headset and a clipboard gave me this tight little smile. You're Adrian, right? I just nodded. She looked down at her sheet and frowned a bit. You're listed as a +1, so we've got you seated near the kitchen entrance, by the folding chairs. If you brought someone, it would have been different, but since you're solo, I felt my stomach drop. I'm his brother. The girl just froze. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's gotta be a mistake. Let me. But before she could run off and fix it, Marissa herself strolled in. Perfect white dress, perfect makeup, perfect, well, just perfect fake smile. Hey, Adrian, Marissa said, drawing out my name like it tasted nasty or something. Glad you could make it. I told the planner about the seating. Hope you don't mind. We just had to make some tough calls, space-wise, you know? I looked right at her. You sat me in the kitchen? She gave a little laugh, like I was being ridiculous. Not in the kitchen. Just near it. It's just for +1s, you know? I mean, technically, you're not in the bridal party, and we had to give the good seats to close friends and the family. No hard feelings, right? I glanced past her into the reception area. Tables covered in fancy linens, candles floating in the air, everyone Logan and sipping champagne. My uncle, who hadn't even spoken to Tyler in 6 years, was sitting smack dab in the center of it all. My cousin Ryan, who got caught stealing from Grandma's purse that one time, he got a seat. And then I saw her. My ex-girlfriend, Tessa, sitting just 2 tables away from the sweetheart table, laughing away with a glass of Prosecco. Tessa and I dated 5 years back. Tyler's the one who introduced us. Go figure. When we broke up, I found out they kept in touch. Of course she got a seat. Marissa must have noticed where I was looking. Oh, yeah, we invited Tessa, she says. She and Tyler stayed friends, and she's always been so supportive. You don't mind, do you? I didn't say a damn word. Just gave her a slow nod. I headed over to that folding chair they had waiting for me. It was stuck awkwardly at the end of some little table, right next to this swinging door where the servers kept rushing in and out, bumping into people and apologizing with trays full of food. It was loud, hot, and smelled like fish and burnt rosemary. I sat there for a minute. Just 1 minute. I watched the music start, the couple walk in, everyone clap in. I saw Tyler whisper something to Tessa as they went past her table, and she smiled back a little too friendly. I watched my gift get set off to the side, ignored with this pile of other boxes. Then I stood up, walked back to the table, picked up the decanter box, and started walking toward the exit. As I passed Marissa near the dance floor, she turned around, saw me, and yelled out, "Wait, where are you going?" I stopped, turned around real slow. The room went quiet enough that everyone caught the end of what I said. Plus one this. A few people gasped. I think someone even laughed. Didn't care. I walked straight toward the doors, gift in hand. I wasn't storming out or nothing. Just walked slow, calm, like I was thinking about it. That's what made it worse for them, I think. As soon as I got to the parking lot, I heard footsteps behind me. Tyler. He was jogging after me, Tuck's jacket flopped in the wind, mouth moving, but like he didn't know what to say. Adrian. Wait, dude. What was that? Why are you leaving? Come on, it's my wedding. I turned around and faced him. You let her sit me by the kitchen. He hesitated. It wasn't. I didn't realize. She did the chart. I just thought, look, it's not a big deal, right? I just shook my head. Not a big deal? You gave Tessa a better seat than your own brother. He looked uncomfortable, scratching the back of his neck. We're not trying to exclude Dash. You do, man, Tyler said, backpedaling a little. It's just, Marissa wanted certain people up front. She didn't want any tension, you know? Tension? I repeated. You mean, me just being in the same room as your ex, who also happens to be your brother's ex? He didn't say a word. That silence? That was the moment something in me snapped. Or maybe, finally, clicked back into place. I didn't yell. Didn't throw the gift or say some mean thing. I just turned around, unlocked my car, and got in. As I pulled out, I saw him standing there in the gravel, kinda half-waving, half-stunned, like he didn't know whether to be ticked off or ashamed. And that wasn't even the start of the real mess, believe me. I didn't head home right away. Drove around for a while, windows down, the cool air doing a better job of keeping me from boiling over than anything else could. Ended up at this quiet overlook on the edge of town, the kind of place where you could see the city lights spreading out like fireflies on black velvet. I parked, sat there in silence, and just let it all settle. Not just the wedding, but years of it. The favoritism, the manipulation, the way I'd been treated like I was just some extra, someone disposable in a movie that starred everyone but me. And somewhere in that silence, I made a decision. I wasn't going to be quiet anymore. I wasn't going to keep swallowing the disrespect just to keep the peace. Didn't answer any of Tyler's texts that night, or the ones the next morning, or even the one from Marissa that read, "Hey, sorry about the mix-up yesterday. Hope you're not still upset. Let's move on." Yeah, right? Didn't reply. But I did open my laptop. See, I work in logistics and event coordination. I don't just plan delivery routes and schedules. I handle crisis management, vendor relations, and all the behind-the-scenes stuff for big events. One of my clients recently, that Katerin company Tyler used for the wedding. The one I referred them to. The one whose business I'd helped build. So I made a polite call to the Katerin manager, Nancy. She was a sweetheart, real efficient, and had already thanked me a bunch after the wedding for the connection. I told her the truth, that I felt disrespected, that I wasn't just some plus one, and that I was going to have to rethink recommending her services from now on. She was quiet for a second, then she said something that really stuck with me. We had to rush everything that day. They underpaid the deposit, and then they changed half the guest list 3 days before the wedding. Honestly, if you hadn't helped with the logistics, we wouldn't have pulled it off. I'm sorry you were treated that way. That was all I needed to hear, because it meant there were openings. Receipts, contracts, leverage. I didn't go nuclear right away. That's not my style. I'm more of a slow burn kind of guy. So I started small. First, I canceled the custom order I'd placed for their wedding gift. It wasn't just the decanter. I'd also set up a match in crystal glassware set to be delivered to their apartment the following week. I didn't just cancel it. I redirected it. To myself. Figured I might as well enjoy the good Scotch glasses. Then I made a quiet phone call to the wedding photographer, another friend of mine. She'd taken some amazing photos at the event, and usually gave friends and family a good discount for referrals. I let her know I wouldn't be sending people her way if she kept giving that rate to Tyler and Marissa. She got it right away. I was snipping threads, quiet-like. Precise, you know? But the real moment, the big one, came about a week later when I got an email from Tyler. The subject line was just, "Need help?" Classic. Turns out, he and Marissa were planning a honeymoon extension. They'd been given a 3-week trip to Bali by Marissa's rich uncle, but they ran into passport problems and were trying to coordinate last-minute express renewals, plus international flight rebooking, plus villa transfers. Tyler's words, "You're the only one I trust to fix this stuff. You're good at this kind of thing. Please, man." No apology. No mention of the wedding. Just, help me. I stared at the screen for a long moment. And then I opened a draft and wrote, "Hey Tyler, would love to help, but unfortunately, this +1 doesn't take bookings anymore. Good luck." Then, I left it unsent. Not because I changed my mind. I just realized something more satisfying. I didn't need to say anything. Instead, I forwarded the email to an old work buddy of mine, Angela, who handles emergency travel logistics for high-end clients. I didn't ask her to help. I asked her to blacklist them. It was petty, I'll admit it, but it felt right. I'd spent years being the fixer, the silent support beam for a family that never noticed the weight I carried. And this time, I let it all fall. 2 days later, I got a text from Tyler. This time, he sounded less like a groom and more like a guy coming apart. "Did you tell Angela not to help us? She said something about you being a non-client blocker? What's wrong, man? We're stranded in Singapore. Flights got canceled. The villa won't refund us. Marissa's flipping out. What's your problem?" I didn't answer. I was out to dinner that night with a friend when I saw Marissa's name pop up on my screen. This time she called. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. "Adrian, I don't know what your issue is, but Tyler is losing it. If this is about the wedding, you need to grow up. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings. You've made your point. Now stop being childish and fix it." And that made me laugh. Out loud. Right there at the dinner table. I didn't fix it. I didn't reply. I just sat back and waited. 'Cause I knew something they didn't. The real fallout hadn't even started yet. See, remember that Qatar invoice I mentioned? The one where they underpaid? Well, it turns out a breach of contract clause kicks in when a client gives wrong guest counts, makes changes to what they want after the deadline, and fails to remit full payment within 14 days. That clause comes with a 25% fee. And Nancy? She was done chasing him down. So, she filed a formal complaint with the venue, which started a whole bunch of fees. The bartender, who was also underpaid, did the same. And just like that, Tyler and Marissa weren't just dealing with a ruined honeymoon. They were fastened thousands of dollars in late fees, penalties, and they weren't getting their security deposits back. All because they tried to cut corners and cut me out. And I hadn't even played my final card yet. About 2 weeks after the honeymoon went south, I started getting tagged in wedding photos on social media. Some distant cousin posted a whole album with the caption, "Beautiful wedding, unforgettable night. Congrats Tyler and Marissa." I clicked on it, out of curiosity, and it was like watching a slideshow of me being erased. There were 83 photos. In one of them, you could see the back of my head, blurry, near the kitchen door. I wasn't in the family photos. Wasn't in the toast videos. Wasn't even mentioned in the caption thanking everyone who made the day so magical. But you know who was mentioned? Tessa. Tagged. Commenting. Liking. It felt like they were doing it on purpose, not just bad planning. It was like Marissa decided I wasn't important, and Tyler went along with it. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to just slip away quietly anymore. I was going to hold up that mirror and let him see what they'd become. I made a post. Just one. Simple, calm, all facts. A slideshow of behind-the-scenes photos I'd taken on my phone while getting things set up. Me adjusting table numbers. Helping the florist with the flowers. Talking with the caterer. I even included a screenshot of the seating chart Marissa's planner accidentally sent me in a group email where my name was labeled +1, Tyler's brother. Literally an afterthought. Then I wrote, helped plan the wedding. Found the venue. Got the caterer a discount. Showed up early to help set up. Was seated next to the kitchen as a +1. Bride said I should understand. So I left quietly. 2 weeks later, they asked for help again. This time, I declined. Apparently, that makes me petty. The post kinda blew up in our small circle. I didn't expect it. But people shared it, commented, reached out. Old friends from high school. Former coworkers. Even family members. My cousin Lauren messaged me, saying, "I knew something was off that day. You looked so uncomfortable." I'm sorry. I didn't reply to everyone. But I read every single word. It felt good. But it wasn't just the sympathy that mattered. It was what happened next. 2 days after the post, Tyler called me again. I let it go to voicemail. This time, he didn't sound angry. He sounded nervous. Hey, so, Marissa's mom saw your post. And now Marissa's freaking out. She thinks you're trying to ruin her image. Her boss follows you, man. She's saying, we need you to take it down. I list dash. 10 to that message while I was at the gym. Played it twice, then one more time on the way to my car. I didn't reply. Instead, I made a second post. Been asked to delete my last post. Apparently, the truth is damaging to someone's image. I'd delete it if it wasn't 100% true. I won't be silenced for the sake of appearances. I spent too many years making myself small for other people's comfort. Never again. I didn't mention any names. No hate. Just honesty. That's the trick, see? People can argue opinions. They can't erase screenshots and seat in charts. That post got even more attention than the first one. Marissa's boss didn't comment publicly, but a friend sent me a screenshot. It was a company Slack message warning employees to be respectful, even outside of work, and reminding everyone that how they're seen reflects their character. The dominoes started falling fast after that. First, I got a call from Marissa's mom. Not a voicemail, a full-on phone call. I didn't pick up, but she left a 3-minute speech about how I was hurting their family's good name and how one day you'll regret making a scene over a chair. Over a chair. That told me everything I needed to know. They still didn't get it. It wasn't about the chair. It was about years of disrespect finally breaking through. Then came the group texts. Tyler tried to fix things by making a family group chat. Let's clear the air, he wrote. Add in everyone from our immediate and extended family. Just want to say things got out of hand. Let's all move on. I stared at the message for a minute. Then I replied, happy to move forward, but only when people take responsibility, not when they call consequences drama. Silence. Then my aunt chimed in with, I always wondered why you were sitting in the back. We thought you were helping out in the kitchen. Another cousin added, honestly, I thought you left 'cause you were sick or something. Had no idea you were treated like that. In minutes, the story Tyler and Marissa had been telling just fell apart. And Tyler? He left the group chat. Marissa blocked me on everything. But here's where things came full circle. About 3 weeks later, I got a handwritten letter in the mail. The envelope was fancy, cream-colored, and a little smudged. No return address. Inside was a note that said, Adrian, I've been thinking a lot about everything. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. I let Marissa call the shots because I thought keeping the peace was more important than standing up for my brother. I was wrong. You've always had my back, and I made you feel invisible at the most important moment of your life. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted to say thank you for everything you did, and I'm sorry for everything I didn't. Just Tyler. No excuses. No demands. Just that. I put the letter back in the envelope and set it on my desk. I haven't redash. And that's where it ends? Wow. That was a great story. I really enjoyed reworking it into that conversational style. I hope it's exactly what you were looking for. Let me know if you want to tweak any of it, or have any other stories you want me to help with. Eplead. Not yet. 'Cause sometimes, the best revenge ain't revenge at all. It's letting people live with the mess they made without you, and realizing who was holding everything together the whole time. And this time, I'm not holding it up anymore. I didn't reply to Tyler's letter right away. Just let it sit there for a week, under a paperweight on my desk. It wasn't that I didn't see the value in that apology. I did. Part of me had waited my whole life to hear him admit he was wrong, without the usual excuses, without him saying, you're too sensitive, or I didn't mean it that way. All the escape routes he usually took. But I also knew this wasn't just about a wedding. It wasn't even just about a chair. This was about years, decades, of being the backup plan, the problem solver, the emotional dumping ground. I spent so long playing the steady brother that I didn't even see how much I'd let myself get pushed down to make everyone else happy. And now, the silence wasn't just me being bitter, it was me seeing clearly. I had to figure out what kind of relationship I even wanted going forward, not just with Tyler, but with my whole family. And then the holidays rolled around. Thanksgiving was at my parents' place that year, like always. They went all out. Turkey, stuffing, the whole shebang. And I was surprised Tyler and Marissa were still invited. Or maybe still invited, 'cause I started seeing how rare it was for me to really feel included. I hadn't said I'd be there, but my mom called a week before and said, it would mean a lot if you came, Adrian. No drama, I promise. So I said yes. Not to be polite, not to keep the peace, but because I was done avoiding the tough talks. When I walked in that day, something felt off. Not tense, but quieter than usual. My cousins gave me a nod. My aunt gave me a weak smile. Tyler was in the living room, helping set up chairs. When he saw me, he froze, then gave a little wave. Marissa wasn't there. My mom told me later she had other plans this year, which meant she probably couldn't face the music. We sat down to eat. Tyler was quiet, just picking at his food, Logan a little too loud at jokes. He kept looking at me like he was waiting for me to say it was all good. I didn't give it to him. After dessert, while people were chilling and watching football, Tyler came up to me in the kitchen. We were alone. "Thanks for coming," he said quiet-like. I nodded. "Thanks for the letter." He looked relieved, like that was what he needed to hear. I meant it. I was a fool. I let things get out of hand. "You did," I said. I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. He needed to hear it. He winced, but didn't say nothing. I thought, maybe we could get back to normal. Stared at him. "What does normal even mean, Tyler?" "'Cause for me, normal was being your backup. It was being the guy you called when you needed a bailout, not when you got promoted. It was being stuck by the kitchen like I was just some random afterthought at your wedding." He sighed. I know that now, and I don't want it to be like that anymore." "You can want that," I said, "but you gotta earn it. I'm not handing out second chances like they're candy. You don't get to treat someone like dirt for years and then fix it with just one apology." He looked down, nodding. "So what do I do?" I crossed my arms. "You show up. Consistently. You stop making everything about you. You take responsibility without me having to ask. And you stop expecting me to play the fixer every time your world falls apart." He nodded again, slower this time. "Okay, I can do that." I shrugged. "We'll see." He didn't push it. Didn't try to hug me or crack a joke to make things easier. For once, he let the weight of what he did hang there without trying to weasel his way out. Progress, I guess. Over the next few months, something started happening. Tyler actually tried. Started small. Texts, just checking in. "Hey, how's work? Thinking about you." That's all. Nothing too mushy, just steady. Then, one Saturday, he showed up at my place with coffee and some breakfast. "No reason," he said, holding up the bag. "Just wanted to hang." We watched some dumb game. Talked about work. He didn't mention the wedding even once. Didn't ask for help with any emergencies. Just hung out. As brothers. It wasn't some fairy tale reunion. I didn't trust him all of a sudden. But something had changed. And I let myself meet him halfway. Marissa, though? Never heard from her. I heard through the grapevine that she wasn't happy about the way things played out. She lost a few friends after the wedding mess, especially among people who saw how she treated me. She had a reputation now, not one I gave her, but one she earned. By spring, Tyler and Marissa said they were talking some time apart. Not a full split, just looking at where things were at. I wasn't shocked. From what I heard, things were tense ever since Bali, and me not wanting to be their doormat made him see all the problems they had. Tyler didn't go into details, but one day over lunch, he said, "I think I got so caught up trying to impress people that I forgot how to just be real." She loved the version of me that looked good on her Instagram. Not the guy eating cold pizza at midnight in a hoodie. I just nodded. It wasn't my place to say anything, but I was glad he was seeing it. That summer, Tyler invited me to his backyard for his birthday. No tuxedos, no fancy decorations, no seat-in charts. Just friends, burgers, and some cheap drinks. He handed me the tongs and said, "You're on grill duty." Tradition, right? It was. I sent nothing big, but it felt real. And when the night was winding down, he lifted up his beer and said, "To Adrian, for showing me what a brother should be, even when I didn't deserve it." I didn't give some long speech. Just clinked beers with him and said, "Took you long enough." Everyone laughed. It was just a moment, but something settled right there. Forgiveness isn't pretending the past didn't happen. It's choosing who's worth giving the future to. I still got that wedding decanter in my cabinet. It ain't a bad memory now. It's just glass. Nice looking, solid, and finally getting used how it was meant to be. Kinda like me.